Watch what happens when you sprinkle a thick layer of coffee grounds around your plants, the way half the internet tells you to. For a few days it looks fine. Then the grounds dry out, knit together into a hard crust, and start repelling water instead of letting it through, slowly suffocating the roots underneath. Coffee grounds are genuinely good for your soil, but that, the most common way people use them, is exactly how to make them do harm. Here's what to do instead. Let me start with that crust, because it's the mistake that turns a good thing bad, and almost nobody warns you about it. Used coffee grounds are made of very fine, uniform particles. When you pile them on thick and they get wet and then dry out, those tiny particles pack together into a dense, compacted layer, almost like a thin sheet of felt sitting on your soil. And that layer does the opposite of what you want. It repels water, so rain and irrigation run off the top instead of soaking in. It blocks air from reaching the soil underneath, and it can cap the surface so tightly that the roots below struggle to breathe. So the gardener who dumps their morning grounds around their favorite plant every day, thinking they're feeding it, is slowly building a water-repellent lid over its roots. That's the #1 coffee grounds mistake, and it comes straight from the most common advice out there. So that's how to use them wrong. But to use them right, you first have to clear up what coffee grounds actually are, because most of the popular advice is built on things that simply aren't true. Let's start with the biggest myth of all. You've almost certainly heard that coffee grounds make your soil acidic, so they're perfect for acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, and hydrangeas. It's one of the most repeated gardening tips in existence, and it's basically wrong. Yes, coffee itself is acidic, but that acidity is water-soluble, which means it mostly dissolved into the liquid coffee you drank. The used grounds left behind are close to neutral, with a pH usually somewhere around 6.5 to 6.8. They are not a reliable way to acidify soil. If you've been saving your grounds specifically to feed your blueberries more acid, I'm sorry to tell you it isn't doing much. That whole idea is one big misunderstanding about where the acid goes. Second myth, that coffee grounds are a fertilizer you can sprinkle on and walk away from. People hear that grounds contain nitrogen, and they do, around 2%, and assume that means instant plant food. But that nitrogen is locked up in the organic material and isn't immediately available to your plants. It has to be broken down by soil microbes first, over time. So grounds aren't a quick feed. They're a slow soil ingredient, a raw material that becomes useful as it decomposes, which is a completely different thing from a fertilizer you scatter for a fast result. Third myth, that grounds work as a pest repellent or a weed killer, that they'll keep slugs, ants, and cats away, or suppress weeds. The evidence for all of that is weak and inconsistent at best. Don't rely on coffee grounds to protect your plants from anything. That's not what they're good for. So if grounds don't acidify your soil, aren't instant fertilizer, and don't repel pests, and piled on thick they actually cause harm, you might be wondering why I said they're genuinely good for your garden at all. Because they are. It's just that the real benefit is quieter and completely different from what the myths claim. Let me show you what coffee grounds actually do down there, and the one creature in your soil that truly loves them. Here's what coffee grounds actually do, and the first thing surprises almost everyone. In composting terms, coffee grounds count as a green, not a brown. That sounds backwards. They're literally brown, and they're dry. But green and brown in composting aren't about color. They're about nitrogen content. Browns are carbon-rich, dry materials like dead leaves and cardboard. Greens are nitrogen-rich materials like grass clippings and food scraps. And despite how they look, coffee grounds are nitrogen-rich. So they behave as a green. That makes them a genuinely valuable compost ingredient, because most people have plenty of brown material lying around and not enough green to balance it. A steady supply of coffee grounds is free nitrogen for your compost pile, helping it heat up and break down faster. If you compost, Grounds are one of the best free greens you can add. The second thing they do is feed the soil life. And this is where the real magic is. Worms, specifically, love coffee grounds. Earthworms are drawn to them and feed on them readily, and gardeners who add grounds to their soil or their worm bins consistently see more worm activity. Remember what worms do down there. They eat organic matter and turn it into rich castings. They burrow and aerate. They build soil from the inside. So anything that attracts and feeds worms is indirectly building your soil through them. If you've set up a worm farm like the one I covered in another video, coffee grounds are premium worm food. Toss them in and the colony goes to work on them. That video is on the channel if you want it. The grounds aren't feeding your plant directly, so much as feeding the workforce that feeds your plant. The third thing grounds do, as they break down, is improve the soil itself. They add organic matter, which improves structure, helps the soil hold moisture, and gives it that crumbly, healthy texture over time. And as they decompose, they slowly release that nitrogen, along with small amounts of other nutrients, potassium, magnesium, and various trace minerals. It's a slow, gentle contribution, not a fertilizer hit, but it's a real one. Worked into the soil properly and given time, grounds genuinely make it richer. So that's the honest picture of what coffee grounds are. Not an acidifier, not instant fertilizer, not a pest repellent. What they really are is a free, nitrogen-rich source of organic matter that compost piles love, worms adore, and soil benefits from as it breaks down. Quieter than the myths, but genuinely useful. The catch, and the whole reason this matters, is that all of that only works if you use them the right way. Remember that water-repellent crust from the start of the video? That's what happens when you ignore how grounds behave and just pile them on. So the entire game is getting the good, the nitrogen, the worm food, the organic matter, without triggering the bad. And that comes down to a few simple rules. The core principle behind every one of those rules is the same. Never let coffee grounds sit in a thick, concentrated layer. Thin, mixed, and diluted is good. Thick and piled is bad. Hold on to that idea, because it explains everything about how to use them. Let me walk you through exactly how to put grounds to work. The right ways, the amounts, and the one situation where you should keep them away from your plants entirely. Here are the right ways to use coffee grounds. 4 of them, all built on that one principle. Thin, mixed, and diluted. Never thick and piled. The best use, by far, is composting. Add your grounds to the compost pile as a green, nitrogen-rich material. Paper coffee filters can go in too. Those count as brown, so the filter and the grounds together are almost a balanced little package. The one guideline? Keep grounds to a reasonable share of the pile, somewhere around 10 to 20% of the total volume, and mix them in rather than dumping them in one solid clump. Because here's the thing, even in a compost pile, a thick wad of grounds can mat together and go anaerobic. Mixed through the pile, they break down beautifully and feed the whole thing. This is the simplest, safest, most effective way to use every coffee ground you produce. The second way is to work them directly into your soil, thinly. Not sprinkled on top in a layer, which gives you that water-repellent crust, but mixed into the top few inches so the particles are dispersed through the soil instead of sitting on the surface. Scattered thinly and stirred in, they add organic matter and slowly release their nutrients without ever forming a barrier. The key word is thin. A light scatter worked in is good. A thick layer is the mistake. The third way, if you want them on the surface, is to cover them. Scatter a thin sprinkle of grounds on the soil and then put a layer of regular mulch, straw, leaves, wood chips, on top of them. The mulch stops the grounds from drying into a crust, and the grounds feed down into the soil from underneath. You get the benefit without the barrier. But honestly, mixing them in or composting them is simpler and safer than surface application. The fourth way is the one we keep coming back to. Feed them to worms. If you have a worm bin, grounds are ideal worm food. Add them in moderation, mixed with other scraps, and let the worms convert them into castings. Even out in the garden, adding grounds is a way of feeding the wild worms in your soil. The worms do the rest. Now, the one situation where you should keep grounds away from your plants entirely: freshly sown seeds and very young seedlings. There's reasonable evidence that compounds in coffee grounds, including leftover caffeine, can inhibit seed germination and slow the growth of very young plants. So don't work fresh grounds into a seed bed or sprinkle them where you've just sown. It's another reason composting is the safest route. By the time grounds have broken down in a finished compost, those compounds have largely degraded, and the worry is gone. Use composted grounds freely. Just keep fresh grounds away from seeds and seedlings. Step back and look at the whole picture, because it's a useful lesson beyond just coffee. The popular advice told you grounds were an acidic miracle feed you sprinkle around your plants, and that advice was wrong on both counts. They're not acidic, and sprinkling them on is the one thing that causes harm. What grounds actually are is humbler and genuinely valuable. Free nitrogen for your compost, premium food for your worms, and slow organic matter for your soil, as long as you mix them in or compost them instead of piling them on. The truth was less flashy than the myth, but a lot more useful. And that's really the theme. A lot of gardening advice gets repeated until it sounds true, whether or not it ever was. Coffee grounds are a perfect example, a genuinely good, free resource wrapped in a stack of myths that lead people to use it in the one way that backfires. Strip away the myths, follow the simple principle of thin and mixed, and that thing you were throwing in the trash every morning quietly makes your soil better. So tomorrow morning, don't tip your grounds in the bin. Don't pile them around your roses either. Stir them into your compost, mix a thin scatter into a bed, or feed them to your worms, and let them do the quiet, real work they're actually good at. Here's where I want your help, because this video is all about cutting through bad advice. Tell me in the comments, what's a gardening tip you followed for years before finding out it was a myth? The coffee grounds acidify soil one fooled me too, and I want to hear the ones that got you, because there are a lot of them out there, and we might save someone else a wasted season. Drop yours below. And if you've been using coffee grounds the wrong way and you're switching it up, type "grow" in your comment so I know this one landed, and give the video a like so it reaches the next person about to dump grounds around their plants. Mix them in. Feed the worms. Skip the crust. I'll see you in the next one.